Lately, many important major Chinese government's mouthpieces reposted an article titled "Everyone Can Feel a Profound Transformation is Underway." Mouthpieces include People's Daily, Xinhua News Agency, People's Liberation Army News, CCTV, and a lot more. So this means it is a coordinated effort from the very top of the Chinese Communist Party. That is, it is from the Chinese President Xi Jinping. This very Cultural Revolution-style article has been regarded as a signal from Xi in starting the second Cultural Revolution movement. If it happens, it will be another great non-recoverable disaster for China and even for the world. We'll discuss this topic in today's episode. Welcome to Beyond the News. I'm Faye. Let's first provide a rough summary of this article. The article started off criticizing various scandals in China's entertainment industry in the past weeks, including the Zhang Zhehan incident, as we've covered in this episode. Do you remember we said in our previous episode that the Chinese government is cracking down on various industries, like private tutoring, etc.? This was also mentioned in this article. To quote it directly, China is undergoing major transformations. Revolutions are happening in the economic, financial, cultural, and political arena. So what does this revolution mean? And where will this revolution lead China? For most people, this article is sending chills up their spines. It is a clear signal indicating that Xi wants to bring the Chinese people back to its 1970s status, back to one of the darkest periods in the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. That's Mao's Cultural Revolution. Why do people say so? How could this article signify the second Cultural Revolution? For those who don't know, the Cultural Revolution was a decade-long social movement that happens back in the 1970s China. During that period, people were ordered to reject anything that's not communism. So the traditional Chinese culture and the Western culture were both banished and destroyed. Therefore, any person who is deemed not communist enough or not in line with the communism thoughts were automatically classified as the enemy of the state. People like landowners, school teachers, people with high educational background, or those had been known criticized the Chinese Communist Party, even just a little bit. Many of them were tortured or killed during the Cultural Revolution. For those who aren't categorized as the enemy of the state, in order to show that they are devoted to the communism, many needed to denounce their connection to their family members or friends who had been classified as enemy of the state. For example, if Jim's parents owned a piece of land, that means his parents were part of the oppressing group. Hence, his parents would be classified in the capitalist class, and they would be publicly denounced and criticized. And their son, Jim, needed to prove that he was not in the same class, otherwise he would be persecuted. Under this cruel environment, Jim would instinctively draw the line at his parents for self-protection. But that was not enough to prove himself. During the Cultural Revolution, he was required to publicly denounce his parents. Imagine you were forced to publicly denounce your parents, calling them evil capitalists. It will be a truly soul-crushing process. Some people call the Cultural Revolution the decade of catastrophe, which almost completely destroyed Chinese people's humanity. Let's now come back to that article to understand why people say that this article is a signal for the incoming of the second Cultural Revolution. We need to go back to what started the Cultural Revolution in China. This may seem hard to believe, but the whole thing that started the Cultural Revolution in 1966 was a drama show called High Ray Dismissed from Office, written by a well-respected scholar back in 1959. The story was about Russia's high-rank official named High Ray in ancient China. High Ray was criticizing the emperor for allowing corruption to happen within the royal court. The emperor felt offended and hence fired him. That was a very short version of the story. Now, let's fast forward to the 1965's China, the year before the Cultural Revolution. A newspaper commentator wrote an opinion piece to criticize this drama, saying the drama was anti-revolutionary, as it was secretly comparing Chairman Mao to the emperor and criticized Mao for being unable to accept criticism. That means the emperor who fired the critic was a reflection of the then Chairman Mao's intolerance to others' opinion. And the most important thing in this hit piece was about the capitalistic elements of the drama. Can you believe that? What's weird about this is the hit piece came out 6 years after the drama was made. Why would someone do something like this 6 years later? The answer was pretty simple. It was not about the old drama at all. It was about Mao needing an excuse to start the movement. No matter whether John dismissed from office or Tom dismissed from office, Harry dismissed from office was not a matter. If a communist leader wants an excuse, he will have it, regardless of what it might be. The person who wrote the hit piece got the order from Mao's wife, Jiang Qing. So in other words, it was Mao who orchestrated this whole thing from the beginning, and he was using it to achieve his political purposes, to get rid of his political opponent, Liu Shaoqi. Liu was the head of China at that time. Because of his policy initiatives, he gained a lot of support in China. Mao felt his authority was under threat. So he came up with a plan to generate young people's support to regain his control of the party. That's how the Cultural Revolution started. Knowing the background of the Cultural Revolution, let's have a look at why the recent article of profound transformation is underway has been regarded as a signal of the Second Cultural Revolution. First, both articles were criticizing the cultural trend at the time. Second, both articles concluded with the theme of disavowing capitalism. It is not a secret that Communist China often criticizes capitalism. They always try to prove communism is a better system. However, when multiple state-owned media are using the same tone, just like how the Mao's Cultural Revolution started, high-rate dismissed from office drama was criticized as having capitalistic elements. Now the recent article also using anti-capitalism as an ultimate reason for the Chinese government's crackdown on various industries in this month. In essence, we all know capitalism and communism won't get along. So when the Chinese government is using anti-capitalism as an excuse for their crackdown, its level and methodology is very much like the start of the Second Cultural Revolution. Not even to mention, the current Chinese president Xi is a big fan of Chairman Mao. However, Xi may want to start a second cultural revolution. I don't think he is able to do it. Back when Mao started the Cultural Revolution, communism was a popular belief amongst the young people in China. Many people truly believed that they were going to save mankind by spreading communism around the world at that time. On top of that, Mao was idolized by people in China. From the video about Mao meeting the red guards in Tiananmen Square, you can see that those young people were so emotional when seeing Mao. Many were crying their heart out. Compare that with the present time. First, not many people truly believe in communism now. Not even the elderly generation, the young Chinese are lying flat now. Even China's former president, Jiang Zemin, said to a reporter in 2003, "When I was young, I believed in communism, but I no longer believe that." Secondly, Xi, as the president, doesn't seem to have as many supporters as Mao once had. So, if Xi is truly attempting to call for the second revolution, there won't be many people go for it. And if Xi is forcing the second cultural revolution, his ending would look terrible and would be the starting of the end of the communism in China. How will this play out? I guess we will wait and see. What's your opinion on that? Leave me a comment below. I truly hope that the second cultural revolution never started in China. It will not only be a horrible catastrophe for China, but also for the world. Alright, that's all for today. If you like this talk on China affairs, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching Beyond the News. I'm Faye. I'll see you again very soon.